Hello everybody and welcome back to another new vlog. You join me just here outside the Queen's Arms pub, just off New Hall Street in the Jewellery Quarter area of Birmingham. I'm going to do something a little bit different today and do some urban photography. So I'm going to have a wander around the Jewellery Quarter, see if I can find some interesting photos for you and tell you some interesting stories about the city of Birmingham. So come along and let's go and see what we can find. So I thought this would be a good place to stop and explain to you exactly why I'm doing this walk today. But before I do, just check out that beautiful archway behind me across the canal. I've just crossed that footbridge there across the canal and took a photo of that archway from the other side of the canal. I think it's absolutely beautiful, and I've seen it a few times before and never actually stopped to see where it goes or what it's part of or anything like that. So it was quite nice to actually cross that bridge. But the main reason I've started this walk today is last year for my birthday I was given this book here. It's a book, an A to Z basically, all about hidden walkways in Birmingham, and this thing has got 20 different hidden walks in the centre of Birmingham and around the outskirts of Birmingham. Places that you would never normally think of to go and have a wander and take photos of, but I'm going to use it today to do my walk. Now there's a list of 20 walks in this book, and today I'm doing walk number 3 in the book, which is a walk around the Jewellery Quarter, and that's the reason I'm here. So I'm going to head on and get to my next location now. So this route is great because it takes in a lot of very interesting landmarks around the Jewellery Quarter here in Birmingham, and one of those of course is the Pen Museum, which you can see just behind me. A museum dedicated to pens, surprisingly enough. Can you believe there's such a thing right here in the centre of Birmingham? A museum dedicated to a writing tool. I'm going to move on and see if I can find my next interesting composition. I've discovered that there are quite a lot of very interesting landmarks along the way, 2 of which you've already seen, 3 of which, sorry, the Pen Museum obviously, the Coffin Works, which I've shown you a photo of, and also that beautiful archway that I came across at the start of the walk, not forgetting of course the Queen's Arms pub. So I'm going to carry on and find the next composition now. I just want to show you this because that building behind me, which you can see there, is the famous Button Factory, which is now a pub and restaurant, but obviously it shows just how much trade and industry there was here in Birmingham. And as I swing around, that building there is Thomas Fattorini. It's the Badge and Medal Works. Now I don't know if they're still in existence now or whether it's just a building that's being kept for heritage sake, but it's really interesting to see just how many trades there are here in Birmingham. I walked past a little bar a little bit further down the road on the same side as the Badge and Medal Works, and that was called 1000 Trades. It wasn't open, so obviously I can't go in today, but obviously it looks to me like there are literally 1000 trades here in Birmingham. I'm going to move on because I want to show you something very interesting in just a moment that I can see just down the road here. So let's go and have a look at that. Check out that beautiful clock behind me. I'm going to read to you exactly what my guidebook tells you about this clock because it's really quite interesting, and it kind of tells the story about Birmingham's history and heritage. And I think it's such an important landmark that it's really got to be mentioned. So the book says this clock was first unveiled in 1903 to commemorate Joseph Chamberlain's visit to South Africa following the end of the Boer War. Better known for historical events, Chamberlain's role as Secretary of State for Colonies and his involvement in the British Empire are subjects of research by the Jewellery Quarter Heritage team. So obviously this clock here is such an impressive and important part of our history. That's why I wanted to stop and capture a little bit of footage of this as well. Now this really is a gem. This is Warstone Lane Cemetery, also known as Brooklands Cemetery, and I wanted to bring you here because it's an absolute haven of peace and tranquility, quite near to the Jewellery Quarter, where there's obviously quite a lot going on, a lot of industry still going on. Apologies for the noise above the plane, but check out these wonderful catacombs behind me. These things are brilliant. They're a series of tombs of people who've been buried here at the cemetery, and they've got this two-tiered system. So if I wanted to, I can walk up some steps on the other side of it and walk around the top layer of these catacombs. It's very interesting. Buried here in this cemetery allegedly is John Baskerville, who was the founder of printing in this country. What a legend. Imagine coming to a place where somebody who is so synonymous with printing when you're a photographer. That's quite an interesting little step, isn't it, back into history? So I'm really enjoying this place. I don't know exactly where John Baskerville is buried, but somewhere in this cemetery he's buried. And there are quite a few other notable people also buried here. This apparently is the burial spot of William Henry Hipkins, who was lost in the Titanic disaster, and George Snipe, who was a police officer allegedly murdered by one of the famous Peaky Blinders, which of course is a great story around here in Birmingham. I'm going to move on and see what my next composition is going to be now. So I've just walked through another cemetery after leaving Warstone Cemetery. That was Key Hill Cemetery. It's not quite as interesting and exciting as Warstone Lane Cemetery, but it's got its own notable residence itself. I'm also at the end, at the end of my walk now, but I wanted to show you this behind me. What you'll see on the wall there behind me is a Banksy work of art. Yes, you heard that correctly, a Banksy. The artist Banksy came to Birmingham back in 2019 and gave us a mural on the wall just there behind me. I'm going to take a photo of it in a moment. But as he was doing so, he made himself a short video of actually producing the artwork on the wall, and he commissioned a local homeless man to be in the video as part of this particular piece of artwork. It's quite an interesting piece of artwork, and it's worth trying to find the video online yourself if you can find it. But anyway, I'm going to stop here and take a photo now. You will have noticed along the way that I've been posting a few pictures of jewellery shops, places where they make and sell jewellery. But that building just across the road from me, behind me, is the Birmingham School of Jewellery, part of Birmingham City University now. But it was once a very important part of Birmingham's industrial heritage, where they made jewellery for the jewellery trade here in Birmingham. So that's a really interesting historical building right here in Birmingham city centre. I'm almost at the end of my journey now, but there's just one more thing that I want to show you before I finish, and that's just along the road here, not far away, right at the very end of the journey. So I'm here in Regent Place right now, almost at the end of the journey. Back in 1852, a local working men's committee actually presented Charles Dickens with a diamond ring, which had been designed and made here in this very spot in a studio here in Regent Place. But I'm going to take the next right and turn down onto Caroline Street and head towards my final destination for the day. So this, as I hope you can see behind me, is St Paul's Square. Not that one, obviously, not the one in London. Birmingham has its own St Paul's Square, and this is it right here, Journey's End. There's a church in the square here that I want to photograph, an absolutely beautiful church. So I'm going to take a few photos of that and show you those at the end of the video. And from now, I'll bid you adieu. I hope you enjoyed the vlog. I've enjoyed making it, enjoyed walking around the Jewellery Quarter. And if you have enjoyed it, please remember to give it a thumbs up, and please remember to also subscribe to the channel. And I look forward to seeing you again on another vlog very soon. Bye for now.